There was once a young boy who struggled with dyslexia, often ridiculed by teachers and peers for his inability to read properly. Despite this, he refused to let his limitations define him. Instead of giving in to despair, he developed extraordinary imagination and creativity, which eventually led him to build one of the most iconic brands in the world. That boy was Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group. His pain became his drive, his failures fueled his journey, and his setbacks became stepping stones to success. Another inspiring story is of a man who lost everything, his job, his wife, and even his home, plunging him into homelessness, sleeping in public restrooms with his toddler son. Yet he refused to surrender to his circumstances. Through sheer determination and relentless effort, he secured a job as a stockbroker and eventually built his own multi-million-dollar firm. That man is Chris Gardner, whose life inspired the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. His suffering did not break him. It forged his resilience. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but suffering is a choice. When life strikes with loss, betrayal, failure, or hardship, we are often tempted to sink into despair. Yet the greatest transformations emerge from our most profound struggles. Pain has the power to crush or elevate, to imprison or liberate, and it is entirely within our hands to choose which path to take. When we resist pain, it lingers, festers, and consumes us. But when we embrace it, we allow it to sculpt us into something greater. A seed must break to sprout. A diamond forms under immense pressure. A phoenix rises only after being reduced to ashes. Likewise, our suffering is not a punishment. It is preparation. The trials we endure are the chisels shaping our souls, carving away our weaknesses and revealing the immense strength hidden within. The moment we stop seeing pain as a curse and start perceiving it as a tool, life transforms. Growth does not come from comfort. It is born in discomfort, nurtured in struggle, and realized through perseverance. Every setback carries within it a lesson, and every hardship is an invitation to transcend. To transform pain into growth, one must cease asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead ask, "What is this teaching me?" The universe does not conspire against us. It refines us. The fire that seems to burn us down is in reality forging us into something unbreakable. Most people fear pain because they associate it with suffering. Yet suffering only arises when we resist what is. Pain is an experience. Suffering is our attachment to that experience. When we drop resistance, pain transforms from a burden into a guide, from a prison into a doorway. Instead of cursing the darkness, one must seek the light within. Instead of mourning what is lost, one must build with what remains. Instead of drowning in sorrow, one must rise like the ocean, vast and unshakable. True strength is not found in avoiding pain, but in embracing it with awareness. It is in the moments of our deepest despair that our greatest breakthroughs are born. Those who master this understanding do not merely endure life's hardships, they transcend them. And when one transcends pain, they are no longer a victim of circumstances, but a creator of destiny. The past is a vast ocean of memories, experiences, joys, regrets, and pains. It holds the echoes of what was, the weight of what could have been, and the chains of what we refuse to let go. Yet no matter how tightly we hold on, the past remains an illusion, a ghostly shadow that exists only in our minds. It is gone, dissolved into the fabric of time, yet so many carry it as if it were a living burden, as if the events that have passed still have the power to shape the present. Detachment from the past is not about forgetting. It is about freeing oneself from the grip of what no longer exists. It is about understanding that the past should be a place of reference, not a place of residence. When we chain ourselves to what was, we deny ourselves the possibility of what could be. Many people suffer not because of what is happening now, but because they are trapped in a loop of replaying past experiences. The mind resurrects old wounds, failures, betrayals, and losses, dragging them into the present and making them feel as real as if they were happening again. But the truth is they are not happening now. The only place they exist is in memory. The pain of the past does not have the ability to harm us anymore. Only our attachment to it does. A wound heals, but if we keep scratching it open, it will never close. The same applies to the past. The more we revisit our sorrows, the deeper they take root in us, and the heavier they become. People cling to the past because it provides them with an identity. They believe their struggles, heartbreaks, and sufferings define who they are. But this is an illusion. Who you are is not a collection of past events. It is who you are in this moment. If a person is driving forward while looking only in the rearview mirror, they will crash. Life is no different. Looking back serves a purpose only if it helps us navigate the road ahead. But if the past is used as an anchor rather than a lesson, it keeps us from moving forward. Forgiveness is one of the greatest tools for detaching from the past. Not just forgiveness of others, but also of oneself. Many people carry guilt, shame, and regret like a heavy stone, punishing themselves for things they cannot change. But what is the use of punishing oneself for something that no longer exists? Life does not judge, only people do. The universe is not keeping score of mistakes. It is constantly providing opportunities to grow beyond them. The moment one realizes that the past is unchangeable but the present is moldable, a great freedom arises. It is like stepping out of a dark tunnel into a vast open sky. Some people believe that holding on to the past keeps them connected to those they have lost, to the dreams they could not achieve, to the moments they cherished. But nothing is truly lost. The people who have left, the dreams that did not come true, the moments that have passed, all of them have left something within us. Their essence is already a part of who we are. Clinging to the past does not honor them. Living fully in the present does. No amount of longing will bring back what is gone, but deep awareness of the present moment allows us to experience life in its fullness, without the weight of yesterday dulling the vibrancy of today. Growth demands space. Just as a tree sheds its old leaves to make way for new ones, one must shed the past to allow for new possibilities. Imagine carrying a bag filled with old, broken objects everywhere you go. The weight tires you, slows you down, and keeps you from picking up anything new. This is exactly how clinging to the past works. It fills the mind and heart with things that no longer serve, leaving no room for what is yet to come. Life is always in motion, constantly flowing like a river. Water that stops moving becomes stagnant. A person who clings to the past becomes stuck. To flow with life, one must let go. Memories will always be there, but they do not have to control us. The past is like an old book on a shelf, something we can open when we need wisdom, but not something we have to carry everywhere. To detach from the past is to step into the vastness of the present, unburdened, free, and fully alive. In the chaos of life, people endlessly search for strength, believing it lies in power, status, control, or physical endurance. They chase external achievements thinking they will provide security and authority. But true strength does not come from the outside, it arises from within. A person who is internally fragile, no matter how powerful they appear, will crumble in the face of adversity. However, one who is deeply rooted in inner stillness remains unshaken, no matter the storms that rage around them. It is not the loudest, the most aggressive, or the most dominant who are the strongest. It is the one who carries a silent, unshakable calm within. When the mind is still, clarity arises. When clarity arises, decisions are made not out of fear or impulse, but from a place of wisdom. Most people live in a state of internal turbulence, constantly reacting to external situations. When things go well, they are happy. When things go wrong, they collapse. Their emotions are dictated by circumstances, and their peace is at the mercy of the world. This is why many feel exhausted, anxious, and powerless. Their inner world is in chaos. They spend their lives trying to control the uncontrollable, to change people, alter events, and make life conform to their desires. But life is unpredictable. People are imperfect, and circumstances are constantly shifting. Those who seek strength outside of themselves are forever at the mercy of something they cannot control. The greatest warriors, leaders, and thinkers throughout history all possessed one thing in common: mastery over their inner world. They understood that to be truly powerful, one must first conquer the mind. A person who has achieved inner stillness does not react. They respond. They do not allow anger, fear, or frustration to dictate their actions. Instead, they observe, understand, and act from a place of balance. This is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. The ability to remain unshaken in the face of insult, pressure, or uncertainty is the mark of true power. People misunderstand stillness, thinking it means passivity or inaction. But stillness is not about doing nothing. It is about acting with complete awareness, without agitation or emotional instability. A tree stands firm in the midst of a storm not because it fights the wind, but because its roots run deep. Likewise, a person who has mastered inner stillness does not resist life's challenges with panic or aggression. They remain rooted in awareness, allowing them to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. A turbulent mind leads to hasty, misguided decisions. A calm mind sees reality as it is, unclouded by emotions, and makes choices from a place of clarity. In the modern world, people are conditioned to believe that busyness is a sign of importance, that noise is a sign of progress, and that movement means achievement. But in reality, constant movement without direction leads nowhere. One may be running, but if they do not know where they are going, they are only exhausting themselves. The greatest power is in the ability to remain still, to observe, and to act with precision. A person who has mastered inner stillness does not waste energy on unnecessary conflict, pointless arguments, or trivial distractions. They conserve their energy, focusing it only on what truly matters. This is why those who are calm from within often achieve far more than those who are restless. They do not burn out because their strength comes from a limitless source, their own inner peace. Fear, stress, anxiety, and doubt exist only when the mind is restless. When one is deeply still from within, fear dissolves and doubt fades away. Nothing can truly shake a person who has found peace within themselves. No external insult can disturb them, no failure can break them, and no loss can define them. They remain steady, like a mountain that does not move no matter how strong the winds blow. This is not because they do not feel emotions, but because they are not controlled by them. They experience life fully, but do not become lost in it. In every moment of life, there is a choice: to react with agitation or to respond with awareness. Those who react give away their power. Those who respond with stillness maintain control. The world does not need more aggressive fighters. It needs more individuals who have mastered their inner world. Because when one is still inside, they become a source of strength for others. Their presence alone brings calmness to a room. Their words bring clarity, and their actions inspire stability. True power is not in how loud one is, how dominant one appears, or how much they control. It is in how unshaken they remain, regardless of what happens around them. Everything in life is temporary. Every breath taken is a reminder that nothing stays the same, that life is in a constant state of change. The sun rises and sets, seasons shift, people come and go, and even the strongest empires crumble with time. Yet despite knowing this, most people resist change, clinging to what was, fearing what is to come. They hold on to relationships that have run their course, chase youth as if aging is a curse, and grasp at moments that have already passed. But impermanence is not something to fear. It is the very essence of life. To resist it is to fight against the natural flow of existence, creating suffering where there should be acceptance, turmoil where there could be peace. Impermanence is often misunderstood as loss, but in reality, it is freedom. It means that nothing remains stuck forever. Not pain, not failure, not even sorrow. Just as joy fades, so does suffering. No storm lasts forever. No night is endless, and no wound remains open forever. The pain that seems unbearable today will one day be a distant memory. The failures that feel crushing will soon become stepping stones to growth. The losses that seem devastating will eventually make space for new beginnings. When one truly understands this, fear disappears. There is nothing to fear when one realizes that everything, good or bad, is temporary. People fear impermanence because they mistake attachment for love and permanence for security. They want the things they cherish to last forever, forgetting that it is impermanence that gives them value. A flower is beautiful not because it lasts forever, but because it blooms for a short time. A sunset is breathtaking because it fades. If everything were permanent, nothing would be precious. The fleeting nature of life is what makes every moment meaningful. When one embraces impermanence, they stop taking things for granted. They see the beauty in the ordinary, the significance in the small, and the miracle in the fleeting. Nothing we own, achieve, or build will remain unchanged. Wealth, fame, and status, things people spend their entire lives chasing, are all impermanent. The body that one polishes and perfects will age. The name that one works so hard to make known will one day be forgotten. The possessions that one clings to will one day belong to someone else. Yet, despite knowing this, people live as if they are invincible, as if time is infinite, as if they can hold on to everything forever. But life does not work that way. Everything borrowed from this world will one day have to be returned. When one resists impermanence, they suffer. They grieve, not just for the loss of loved ones, but for the passing of time, for the fading of youth, for the changes that come with life. But when one embraces impermanence, they live fully. They stop waiting for the perfect moment and start cherishing the moment they have. They stop fearing endings and start seeing them as transitions. They stop mourning what is lost and start appreciating what remains. A person who understands impermanence lives with an open heart, knowing that every experience, no matter how brief, is a gift. Impermanence also teaches humility. It reminds us that no matter how powerful, talented, or successful we are all subject to the same law of change. The greatest kings and the humblest beggars, the richest and the poorest, the most famous and the most forgotten, all will be dust one day. This understanding removes arrogance, dissolves ego, and brings a deep sense of peace. When one no longer fears loss, they become fearless. When one no longer clings to what is temporary, they find true freedom. The river does not resist the flow, it moves with it. The tree does not fight the seasons, it sheds its leaves in autumn and blooms again in spring. Life is no different. It is always changing, always evolving, always moving. When one moves with it instead of resisting it, they find peace. They realize that nothing is truly lost, things only change form. The people who leave, the dreams that fade, the moments that pass, all leave something behind, shaping who we become. Nothing truly disappears, it just transforms. Everything that begins will end, but within every ending is a new beginning. When one accepts this, life is no longer something to control, but something to experience fully. There is no need to hold on tightly to anything, no need to fear change, no need to resist what is inevitable. Instead, there is only the awareness that every moment is precious, every experience is meaningful, and every breath is a gift. From the moment a person is born, they are surrounded by limitations, some imposed by society, some by circumstances, and many created by their own mind. People are told what they can and cannot do, who they should be, how they must live, and what they are capable of achieving. These limitations shape their beliefs, conditioning them to think small, to doubt themselves, and to accept restrictions as their reality. But true living does not happen within boundaries. It happens when one breaks free from them. Every limitation is an opportunity to find liberation, not a reason to remain trapped. The greatest prisons are not made of walls and bars. They are built in the mind. A person who believes they are not good enough, not smart enough, or not worthy enough has already placed themselves in a cage, locking the doors with their own thoughts. The mind can be the greatest liberator or the deepest prison, depending on how it is used. Those who focus on their limitations become trapped by them, but those who seek liberation rise beyond them. Every person has the power to choose whether to remain bound by fear, self-doubt, and external expectations, or to break free and experience Life in its fullest form. Most limitations are illusions created by years of conditioning. From childhood, people are taught what is realistic and what is impossible. They are told to conform, stay within the lines, and follow the path laid out for them. But those who truly live do not walk the paths created by others. They carve their own. Every great innovator, artist, leader, and thinker was once told that their vision was unrealistic. Yet they refused to accept those limitations, and because of that, they changed the world. The ones who find liberation are those who refuse to let the opinions of others define them. Fear is the greatest barrier to liberation. People fear failure, rejection, uncertainty, and even their own potential. This fear keeps them small, stopping them from taking risks, pursuing their dreams, and stepping beyond their comfort zones. But the truth is, there is no greater failure than never trying, no greater rejection than rejecting oneself, and no greater uncertainty than living a life dictated by fear. Fear itself is a limitation, but when one sees it clearly, it loses its power. Fear is not a wall. It is a doorway, and walking through it is the path to true freedom. People often mistake comfort for safety, but comfort is one of the greatest limitations of all. When one settles into a life of comfort, they stop growing, stop exploring, stop expanding. They trade freedom for familiarity, thinking they are secure, but in reality, they have only built a different kind of prison. True liberation comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from embracing it. Growth happens at the edge of discomfort, beyond the walls of the familiar. A bird that refuses to leave the nest may feel safe, but it will never know the vastness of the sky. Liberation does not mean escaping reality. It means mastering it. It is not about running away from responsibility or denying the challenges of life. It is about shifting perspective, about seeing every challenge not as an obstacle but as an opportunity. A person who seeks liberation does not see problems, they see possibilities. They do not complain about the chains, they learn how to break them. No situation, no circumstance, no external force has the power to limit a person unless they allow it. The real battle is always within. The need for approval is another invisible chain that binds people. So many live their lives based on the expectations of others, seeking validation, afraid of disapproval. But liberation comes when one realizes that the opinions of others do not define them. What others think, say, or believe is their reality, not yours. A person who is truly free does not live for the applause of the world. They live from the truth of their own being. They are not controlled by praise, nor are they discouraged by criticism. Their path is not determined by external noise but by inner clarity. Liberation is a state of mind, not a destination. It does not come from acquiring more, achieving more, or proving anything. It comes from shedding the layers of conditioning, from dissolving the barriers of fear, from seeing through the illusion of limitation. It is not something that happens outside, it happens within. The moment one realizes that they were never truly bound, that the doors of their prison were never locked, they step into a life of infinite possibilities. There is nothing holding anyone back except the belief that they are held back. Life is not a battle to be fought. It is an experience to be understood. Yet most people spend their days in constant resistance, resisting circumstances, resisting emotions, resisting change, resisting reality itself. They fight against what is, believing that struggle is the way to victory, and that resistance is the path to strength. But true strength does not come from pushing against life, it comes from rising in awareness. When one stops resisting and starts understanding, a great shift happens. The world is not something to conquer, it is something to experience fully. To rise does not mean to fight against what is happening, it means to see it clearly, to move with wisdom rather than struggle in blindness. Resistance is born from fear. People resist change because they fear the unknown, resist emotions because they fear their depth, resist situations because they fear losing control. But life is not meant to be controlled, it is meant to be lived. A river does not resist the rocks in its path, it flows around them. The sky does not resist the storm, It allows it to pass. The ocean does not resist the waves. It rises and falls with them. In the same way, when one moves with life instead of against it, they discover an effortless power, a power that comes not from force, but from awareness. Most suffering is not caused by external circumstances, but by internal resistance. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. A person who loses something they love will feel pain, but it is the resistance to that pain, the refusal to accept it, the struggle against it, that turns pain into suffering. The more one fights reality, the more they suffer. But when awareness arises, suffering dissolves. Awareness does not mean passivity, it means clarity. It means seeing life as it is, not as one wishes it to be. It means responding with wisdom rather than reacting with fear. People believe that to change the world they must resist it. They believe that to stand for something they must fight against something else. But awareness is more powerful than resistance. A person who resists ignorance with anger only adds to the ignorance. A person who resists hate with hate only creates more division. But a person who rises in awareness dissolves ignorance with understanding, overcomes hate with wisdom, and transforms struggle into growth. The greatest revolutions did not come from blind resistance, but from deep awareness. When one sees clearly, change happens not through force but through transformation. The mind creates battles where none exist. It turns simple challenges into complex struggles, small obstacles into insurmountable barriers. It resists discomfort, yet discomfort is the very thing that leads to growth. A seed must break open to become a tree. A caterpillar must dissolve completely to become a butterfly. A person must go through discomfort to awaken to their highest potential. But if they resist, they remain stuck, trapped in their own fear, unable to rise beyond their limitations. Growth is not in resistance, it is in awareness of the process, in trusting that every challenge has a purpose, that every difficulty is shaping something greater. When one moves through life with awareness, everything changes. There is no longer a need to fight unnecessary battles, no longer a need to react to every disturbance. Small problems no longer seem overwhelming because they are seen for what they are, temporary waves in the vast ocean of life. Fear loses its grip because it is understood as just another passing emotion, not an unbreakable chain. Awareness brings a deep sense of peace, a power that is unshakable. It is not the power to control everything, but the power to be untouched by what is uncontrollable. To rise in awareness is to step out of the conditioned mind, to stop living in reaction, and to start living with intention. It means seeing that not every situation requires a fight, that not every difficulty is an enemy, that not every challenge is a war. It means understanding that life is not against you, it is happening for you. Every experience, every emotion, every moment is guiding you toward deeper understanding, if only you stop resisting and start seeing. When resistance drops, life flows effortlessly. There is no longer struggle, only movement, no longer fear, only clarity, no longer confusion, only deep, unwavering awareness. Life is not meant to be a battlefield of constant resistance, nor is it a place to remain trapped in limitations and fears. It is a vast, ever-changing experience where growth, transformation, and liberation are possible at every moment. When one learns to detach from the past, embrace impermanence, and cultivate inner stillness, they begin to see life for what it truly is, a flow, not a fight. Struggles are not meant to break us, they are meant to awaken us. Pain is not a punishment, it is a teacher. The only real prison is the one built by the mind, and the only true freedom is found in awareness. Rising from life's ashes does not mean resisting what has been burnt. It means recognizing that destruction is also a form of creation. From every loss, something new emerges. From every challenge, strength is built. From every ending, a beginning is waiting. Those who rise in awareness do not cling to what is temporary, nor do they seek false security in what is bound to change. They live fully, knowing that each moment is fleeting and precious. They do not waste time in fear, doubt, or hesitation, They move with life, not against it. The path to true liberation is not found in controlling everything, in clinging to the past, or in fearing the future. It is found in surrendering to the present with complete awareness. The one who sees clearly is never shaken, never lost, never bound. They do not rise in resistance, they rise in wisdom. They do not fight for control. They flow with understanding. And in doing so, they become unbreakable. Not because they are rigid, but because they are free.